Hello, for this week's case analysis, we will be reviewing two letters addressed to the AAMFT Ethics Committee. Our group consists of myself, Amelia, Chrissia, Heather, Linnea, and Shay. The first letter is regarding a client's complaint of her therapist and accusations of ethical violations. The second letter is a therapist's response to those ethical violations. We will then be reviewing actual and potential ethical violations as well as the implications and complications. The first letter, addressed from the client to the Ethics Committee, states, Dear Ethics Committee, I am writing to lodge a complaint against one of your members, Mr. J.P. Clinician. My ex-husband and my entire family, including my two children, have seen Mr. Clinician off and on over the last 10 years. We have been very close to Mr. Clinician. In fact, we began seeing him before we married for premarital therapy, coming highly recommended by my sister-in-law, my ex-husband's sister. She and Mr. Clinician went to graduate school together and are still very close friends. We took an immediate liking to Mr. Clinician and were appreciative of the referral as we live in a major metropolitan area and didn't know any therapists here. He helped my former husband and me develop better communication skills before and after we were married. He even helped one of my children who had been suffering from a facial tic shortly after he entered the first grade. In addition to family therapy training, Mr. Clinician had also been trained in behavioral therapy techniques and his intervention worked. So needless to say, we loved Mr. Clinician. He was our family therapist. In fact, following his successful treatment of our son's facial tic problem, we decided to give him an antique, engraved brass letter opener dating back to the Civil War, which had belonged to my great-grandfather. Knowing how much he loved antiques, we gave it to him as a gift. He loved it, thanked us, and put it in his office. Several years later, my husband and I began to have a difficult time. We decided to call Mr. Clinician again since we had had such success with him before. The therapy this time around did not go so well. I felt as though Mr. Clinician sided more with my husband and did not understand my point of view at all. The divorce got ugly. My ex-husband wanted full custody of our children, as did I, and our court battle began. During this process, my husband asked that Mr. Clinician evaluate both of our children, ages 10 and 12, for the custody hearing, which he did against my protestations. I told him that I thought he had to have a written waiver from me to do this. He said that he didn't need a waiver to offer his expert advice regarding custody. During the hearing, he used information about me that I felt he had obtained during the therapy. The court eventually awarded us joint custody, and I found this to be a very difficult situation. Since the decision of the court, I have been very upset about how Mr. Clinician conducted himself professionally. I also have regretted giving him the antique letter opener that I told him had been treasured in my family for several generations. So I decided to take a look at AAMFT's Code of Ethics online and discovered that Mr. Clinician had violated several of your profession's principles. I think your member has acted very unprofessionally and unethically. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Sincerely, Ms. N.L. Client.